you are right in saying that the major magnet, as far as Hanson was concerned, was this collective feeling that, particularly later in life, she missed out.
Yeah.
Now, there were some racists. I mean, we've got racists, of course.
I'm not saying they weren't there, but it wasn't the primary motivator for most of us support.
Motivation, no.
It just wasn't.
No.
We did the research.
Yeah, the primary motivation was that they were missing out on things that they felt that only fair and reasonable they should have. And I suppose you had a situation where a lot of them who had previously been coalition supporters, you had 13 years of a Labor government, there's a big change of government, a big swing, and unrealistically, of course, life doesn't change overnight. Of course it doesn't. And people felt they were missing out. And that's why I adopted the attitude I did of certainly not blackguarding people who supported One Nation. I got a lot of criticism for that, including from in my own party, but I think it was the right thing to do. And the gun issue gave her some support. I think some of the people you were talking about were people who probably felt that we were being dictatorial and we were putting upon them, and they say, well, we haven't broken the law, and why should we lose our gun? And some of the pleasure we have is firing them because of that lunatic, and can't they do something about lunatics without taking away our gun? Now, that probably came up in your research. That was certainly an attitude I got, but I think it was always wrong to see Hanson's thing being primarily motivated by racism. And I disagreed with her comments. Australia wasn't being flooded with Asians. That was a complete misrepresentation of what was occurring. And it wasn't right to infer that Aboriginal people weren't disadvantaged. You can argue about how you remove that disadvantage, and there's a big legitimate debate about that, but her principal appeal was to people who felt that they'd missed out. And she did it well, and they identified with her.
Hi, perhaps you recognize me. It's your favorite president.
We will decide who comes to this country and the circumstances in which they come.
Anybody in this country doesn't minimise their tax. They want their heads ring.
Socialists don't like ordinary people choosing, or they might not choose socialism.
The answer is might, because I want to do you slowly. I was saved by God to make America great again.
We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of Commanding the Narrative. My name is Stephen Tripp. Thank you to everyone who is watching us. If you are watching this live, we want to hear from you. The best conversations are always the ones that are interactive with you, the audience. So you can get on the chat on Rumble, Facebook, or YouTube and send us a message, ask a question, make a statement, whatever you choose. And if you're really feeling up to it, and today would probably be the best time to do it, hit that link to StreamYard and call in. We want to hear from you and have a conversation with you on air, and maybe answer some questions or have a rant or yell at Sam or something like that. That would be great. But here we are in a new location. This might be a temporary location, but a lot of craziness has been going on.
Especially last hour or two.
Yeah, I've been moving, so that's why we didn't do the podcast last week, and that's why we're in the new location here. And if everyone could see behind the scenes what goes on before.
We've been to Bunnings.
Mr. Bunnings.
We've been to Bunnings.
Feels like a construction site in here with all the stuff rigged up, but I wouldn't be able to do it with without these two gentlemen. Thank you very much, Adam. And you got your flag upside down. I do that. I do that all the time too.
That's shocking.
Yeah, no one ever tells me either. So I sit there the whole interview with my flag upside down.
I thought I put it the right way.
Yeah, no, they do have
Thank
minds
you
of
for
their
telling
own.
me. I don't like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the flag is very important.
Mr. Adam Zahra, how are you going?
Mr. Stephen Tripp, I am very happy to be here. We are commanding the narrative on the shelf.
On the shelf.
Don't touch us. We'll lose our magic.
Yeah.
We'll get up to mischief. We've been up to mischief in the house today.
Yes.
But it's very good to be here, and congratulations on your property. And it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Buono, you were in the last place. You called that a dog box. What do you think of this?
This is gold plated.
Well, I want to say, so what happens is we lovingly named my studio, the Fishbowl,
Yeah.
right, which is probably 5 stars compared to being up on the shelf at the moment, because we are literally on a shelf.
I think if we went to Bunnings, we thought that in future furniture might be a better.
Oh, yeah.
We'll
The couch might be better.
give us some time and we'll deck this out and hopefully it will look very
I think
professional.
we should
and all.
add a camera from the ceiling and the lights from the ceiling as well.
Yeah, well, why not? Why not?
I'll help you.
Well, we've got some. John the Boy says no audio.
No audio.
We can hear. I'm hearing myself okay.
Let me double check that.
So we had all that banter.
Yeah, should be hearing us. I don't see why not. Can everyone else hear us? Oh, well, Tony can hear us because she's talking about Bunnings. So Tony also says, Adam, you look like the rabbi in that hat.
No, because yeehaw, guess where we're off to? We're off to
Dunny-Doo. We're coming to see you, Dunny-Doo and Dubbo and all those areas. We're going to do a tour of the Central West Orana Renewable Energy Zone. So look out, Bowen. We're going to come and check out what's actually...
all the wasted money, wasted land.
John the Boy says, never mind, it's just me. Very good.
Oh, the hat can come off now.
Tony says, boycott Bunnings facial recognition. I think they're all going to have that, aren't they?
Well, what can you do? Okay, what can you do? If you need to go get something, you have to go to Bunnings.
John says, looks like Russian nesting dolls. Oh, you almost knocked over the light.
I did almost knock over the light. I do apologize. But that's a proper Akubra hat right there that I threw on the ground.
Tony says it's a bit fuzzy. Audio is good. What's fuzzy? Anyway, I don't care anymore. We're doing it. We're here. Yeah. We've done zero prep. I normally
have you got your glasses on?
I normally prep these interviews, but I've done zero. So it's just going to be a chat today, but it's going to be a topic that we should all know a lot about. So we shouldn't have any problems. But let's quickly kick things off. And that's by bringing up the website. Please head to the website and check it out, commandingthenarrative.com. You'll find all the podcasts and articles and everything that we do up on the website. You'll hit the sign up button in the top right hand corner and you'll get the newsletter when I get around to doing it, if I ever have time. So you'll find out we've actually done some really great interviews lately. Lou O'Brien, who's the federal member for Wide Bay, we had him on last fortnight. Thank you, Katie McCallum, for setting up that interview. I was really impressed with Lou O'Brien, a down-to-earth, everyday Australian and a federal member of Parliament too. So I think we need a lot more Lou O'Briens in the Parliament. It was very refreshing listening to him. So check out that interview. We had the Victorian farmers on talking about what's happening down there with their problems with the Victorian government. And of course, Bernie Finn was a great interview. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about Bernie today, jumping across to One Nation.
One Nation. Got
some articles up here. Please check those articles out as well. Some surveys if you want to do the surveys if you haven't already. And if you want to know who's on the podcast this week, you can check it out on the website there. And as Adam mentioned, we're heading to Dunny-Doo for this community town hall. It's at the Dunny-Doo Bowling Club on Saturday, February 21, 2 weeks' time, or less than 2 weeks' time now. Starts at 6:30. Prior to that, these two politicians, Stuart Bonds, who's the member or candidate for Hunter, he may be running in the upper house. Let's see how that plays out. Fingers crossed for Stuart.
Yep.
But also Senator Sean Bell, he's already in the federal parliament, along with Pauline Hanson and Malcolm Roberts. They're going to be speaking directly to the community. So if you live in Dunny-Doo or Coolah or Dubbo or Wellington or any of these places around there that are that are battling the renewable energy zone out there, it's a free event. Come out. There's going to be plenty of time for you to mingle and meet these politicians and some of the other people that are going to be there. And there's going to be plenty of time for them to be on stage answering questions. It's not going to be just them talking at you. It's going to be an interactive event. So please come along.
Also, people from Gilgandra, it's only about another 40 minutes west of Dunny-Doo, so they can get across in 40 minutes.
Yes.
North, south, east, west?
That's west, straight west.
And if you're out there, if you feel like you're not being listened to with these renewable projects, come out. And this is the whole point of Stuart and Sean coming out to this event to speak directly to you, the community, and get your thoughts and feedback about what's happening with this renewable energy zone and all of the renewable projects that are out there in the Central West Orana. Also, if you want to contribute to us financially, you can head to Buy Me a Coffee. and throw us a few dollars there. You can donate however much you or little that you like. It's always very pleasing to know that people want to part with their hard-earned money to support us.
And Lord knows if you saw our setup, we'd need it.
Yeah, we. I at least need to take these guys out to dinner or something to say thank you. Yeah, please head to Buy Me a Coffee, and any support helps to pay for the stream, the website, all the gear that we get, and most importantly gives us a very warm and fuzzy feeling. So yes, which is very important. Quickly, I also let you know about Australians for a Better Government. Been a little bit quiet because I have been moving, so we want to get back into Australians for Better Government, do a lot more events this year, and get this really moving and rolling, because I think it's more applicable now than ever. Are you sick of the way Australia is being governed? I think a lot of people do feel they are sick of the system of government. It's not adequate enough. It's not optimal enough.
What about the people in? Maybe it's not the system. Maybe it's the people that are in the system.
Well, yeah,
there was an article in yesterday's Australian by Dennis Shanahan saying, with the popularity of the majors down to almost 50% of the country, people were saying within Canberra, the Canberra bubble, saying they do want reform. They're thinking about reforms of how democracy operates in Australia.
Okay, well,
which means what? Communism or socialism? Or
no, more about how procedure of legislation, how all that sort of stuff works. It's an article if you subscribe to the Australian, it's written by Dennis Shanahan yesterday.
Yeah, okay. Tony's saying the images is fuzzy. I can't do anything about that, unfortunately. It looks good on our end. So
okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing. That's just.
Is anyone else getting fuzzy images?
Anyway, people are listening. All right, boys. So there's a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about a little bit about Epstein. I don't want to go too much into Epstein stuff. We'll talk about that.
It's
what, the Bitcoin founder?
Is he the Bitcoin founder? Come on, mate.
Somebody was saying that's what I've been seeing in the feeds.
Really? I think he's everything at the moment.
Well, just quickly, I want to quickly speak about something that's a bit to do with local council.
Okay.
Can I do that real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Horrified at the moment that we are on the 18th of February raising the Bangladeshi flag, okay, for the International Mother Language Day. Now, to me, that's a national flag, not a universal flag, right? And it has a little bit of significance because apparently the Bangladesh people had to fight for their mother language, their native language, to speak it. Okay, so I understand the plight of the Bangladesh people wanting their language, but they also, in doing a quick bit of research, is that they've also been known to restrict other languages and other indigenous languages in their country. So we are now celebrating a national country's mother language in Australia, in Campbelltown forecourt, on the day, on the ratepayers dollar, for something that really isn't significant. I oppose this in council quite vehemently. And I just think it was, I said actually I would prefer to raise the Australian flag because Australia gives a safe harbour.
That's right.
And you can speak your own language in this country without being persecuted. So it seems to me, you come to Australia or you migrate to Australia because you want to escape a place where, or your motherland where, you're being, persecuted, and you come to a free country, and then all of a sudden you start raising flags for a country of persecution. It doesn't make sense. So I'm quite upset about it, quite angry about it. It was a council decision and it was voted for. I did oppose it. I think I was the only one to oppose it. So I'm not saying that.
Is Bangladesh an ex-British colony?
I don't know what it is, but all I know is that, to me, raising a Bangladeshi flag or a flag of any nation for International Mother Language Day probably should be done at your own club. You know how you have, the Maltese clubs on Maltese. You have the Maltese clubs. Right. You have the Yugoslavian clubs and all those kind of clubs. Well,
correct.
You know what? Raise your flag there.
Yeah, that's right. Don't need to do it down.
And why do it on the ratepayers' dime?
And on Australian soil. This is Australia, mate.
Yeah. So so I'm calling it out, and I'm not really happy about it. And I'm sure if anybody from council's watching this, I'm probably going to get in trouble.
I'm just going to duck out for a quick second. I'll just see if we can fix this image.
Okay.
It is a bit fuzzy. Let's just have a look. I think people are happy enough listening to us, but I'm always a perfectionist.
Yeah. We'll come back to that Bangladeshi issue.
No, it's made it even worse.
Also, basically, 50 years ago, when I remember as a kid, my parents came here in the late 50s,
Mhm.
and they got drilled. And white Australians would say, "You've come to Australia, you'll learn the Australian way."
Yeah, that's right.
You know? What happened in your home country, you don't bring it over here.
That's right.
Right?
And I think and Barnaby's raised a good point.
And I can tell you a famous story if we've got a couple of
Yeah,
minutes.
we've got minutes.
There you go.
I was in year 1 or kindergarten. We had an old scooter, and I was driving. My mum drove, went with my other brothers and sisters. We all came back from home, back home just from school.
Mm.
And we had an old scooter, and I was riding this scooter along this footpath along this railway line, and the wheel. Just in those days, our scooters were only worth $2 bob, and they could. And we always had the back tires out brakes.
Yeah.
You either slid in the dirt.
Yeah.
Or you use your
Foot on the wheel.
Foot on the thing on the
That's
thing.
right.
And one day I was riding, and next thing you know, the back wheel fell off, and the back wheel hit this bloke on this park bench. And I think he was from the First World War. This is early 70s. This is probably 1971.
Mm.
He said, I fought against you, Dagos.
All right.
This is Australia. I said, yes, sir. And then I heard my mum. I was going to have a conversation next to my mum grabbed him by my ear and said, get on here, son. And then my mum, I can remember this, my mum, I was only 6 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old. I said, what did he say? He said, this is Australia. What's happening over there? I fought against you, Dagos. Wake up to yourselves. And from that day, I can still remember to this day. And basically, bang, you learned that what's in this country state. When you come into this country, you start from scratch. You learn the Australian way.
And well, I want to know what happened to the Australian people in the Australian way where they stopped being like that. Why did we bend the knee to a minority? I'm part of a minority group. My family immigrated here.
That's right. Same.
Right?
I'm Italian. My parents came here in the late 50s.
Right. So what I'm saying is, it's like, you do migrate to this country for better life. My family,
that's right.
My grandparents, and my father, my mother was born here, but migrated here for better life, and better opportunity, right? So then why wouldn't you? So why would you change it back? Why would you not take on the Australia way? I mean, that was the point. You come to Australia to live the Australian way. You don't come to Australia to raise different flags. You don't come to Australia to do anything other than live the Australian way.
That's right. Assimilate and learn the Australian way.
Yeah, that's right. So I think that's, and sorry, I mean, it's a very serious topic.
Wow.
And there is complexities to it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, right, I don't see why ratepayers should be raising a flag that has has nothing to do, it has a national interest, not a universal interest.
Yeah. And
I don't think we should be making an Australian Campbelltown ratepayers pay.
When I went to school in the 70s and 80s, we played the national. We sang the national anthem probably once a week on average.
Every day.
I went to school and high school.
Hilariously enough, my youngest daughter had her first day of kindergarten. First day of kindergarten the other day.
All right.
And
let me just pause. I'll just try and fix this. Give me 1 sec. Hold on. Sorry, audience.
Gremlins.
Let's try that. If it doesn't work, we'll just have to put up with it and we'll deal with it another time.
Go back to the fishbowl.
Yeah, all those signals are saying everything's good, so it should. No, that's worse. Okay, all right. That's a pity. Maybe I can fiddle around with it when in the post production.
It's a soft lens. It's good for us.
Yeah, it makes us
look years younger.
Yeah.
But in those early 70s, they drilled it into us. This is Australia, mate. And I fought against you people. I remember it's the only person, I think he was from the First World War because he was so old then. This is early 70s. I don't think he was from the Second World War. But I can remember people from the Second World War when I went to start going to pubs in the 80s and stuff like that. And they could stare at you and stuff like that, And just the early learn to assimilate. And I think what's happened now the last couple of months since Bondi, since Bondi,
people are speaking up.
And have you noticed?
They should speak up. Should have been always speaking up. You should know. No, people should. That was what I was going to say, right? The Australian people should let the migrants know, right, that you're on our turf.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not saying to be abusive, and I'm not saying to put people down. I'm not saying to be racist. None of that. Okay. But it's nice to be. I think as an Australian, it's your duty to subtly remind somebody who speaks a foreign language and is an immigrant and not born here. Okay, I think it's your duty to remind them, right, in the nicest way, that this is our country and you've come here for a reason. So assimilate.
Well, I know my parents were speaking. Sometimes they speak Italian in public places. I remember when people say, "This is Australia, mate. Speak Australian. If you don't like it, go home."
That's right. It used to be like that.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, boys, let's talk about One Nation.
Yay.
We've all spent some time in there. Well, you want to say something else?
No, I was just going to finish off saying
you've told us the story about your bike about 10 times on the podcast, but you're hitting some poor old bloke.
Yeah, but also too, come back to the reaction from Bondi, I think, and I don't know if we should bring this up, but I don't know if people noticed around where I live, there was Australian flags around
everywhere
in the street.
There's lots of Australian flags around here.
I didn't know, but around where I am, is wokey, global. A lot of people work for global, big or high-profile companies and stuff like that. I know 6 or 7 flags, and another bloke reported me in another little area down the street, well, from where I live. He said there was flags everywhere around there. So people are saying enough's enough.
Well, I noticed that council have put up Australia Day flags for Australia Day, and I noticed
around where you
down in the south coast where business and everything is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, even in Appin, and they haven't taken the flags down, and I'm kind of like, sweet, leave them up.
Yeah.
People are sick of this shit. We're sick of Albanese standing in front of 3 flags. We're sick of the Greens ripping down the Australian flag and calling it Invasion Day. People want to be proud of their country. This is a great place. It's a wonderful place. People are sick of this bullshit. Oh, we have to have this black armband view of the country. This is a great country. We should be so proud of this country and what we've achieved here in such a small space of time.
Is the Aboriginal flag recognized internationally as a flag?
Oh, probably by the UN or something like that.
But as a what? Because it's not our country's flag.
Well,
it's not our nation's flag. It's not a land.
I don't understand. But we focus on the Aboriginal flag a lot. What about the Torres Strait Islander flag? Why do we have the Torres Strait Islander flag? I looked it up the other day. There's like 4,000 people living in the Torres Strait. Some of these islands have 10 people on there, and Albanese's got the Torres Strait Islander flag flying everywhere. Why?
That does drive me nuts. My next question was, if I went to the Torres Strait Islands, do I need a passport to get there?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know where it is. I mean, but it's probably up north somewhere.
Is it
between here and Papua New Guinea or something?
Is it Australian land?
Well, remember we interviewed Kerry White, and Kerry White said the Torres Strait Islanders are not even Aboriginals; they're Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, right. So what I'm saying
is what she said.
Why are we flying? And if I'm wrong, let us know in the comments.
Why don't we fly the Norfolk Island flag?
Let's fly the Chinese flag. Let's fly any damn flag. Who cares, right? Like that's what it means. This is the problem. I don't think the Aboriginal flag is recognized as a country's flag, so we shouldn't be flying it, because that's really no difference to having like a group's flag.
Yeah.
Right. So what groups are there, right?
Are people speaking out now because One Nation's polling at 25%?
Yeah, of course they are.
And Barnaby's on track.
Do you believe these polls? I don't believe the polls. Well, there's something fishy about these polls.
We haven't got to the One Nation topic yet.
Well, let's get to it, because last year I already watched our end of year review, the 2024 end of year review, and you were telling me about this poll that said that Pauline Hanson was the most unpopular politician in the country.
That's right.
Now there's this new poll that's come out that says she's the most popular. Yeah. How does it go from the most unpopular to the most popular in less than a year? I mean, John Howard always used to say you can't fatten the pig on market day. This is taking the pig and injecting it with steroids and growth hormone.
I'll tell you how it happens.
She hasn't done anything different.
But I'll tell you how it happens, right? It's exactly right. She hasn't done everything different. She's been calling people out since 96. She's been saying the same thing since 1996. Okay. Yes. Okay. At one point in time, it was about the Asians coming over. Now it's about, Islamics and Islamic State coming over. Okay, but she's been saying the same thing. She's been very consistent over the years. Everyone can appreciate somebody who has worked as hard as her. She's been put in prison. She's been let out of prison. She was wrongly imprisoned. Okay, and people have realized that. Hold on a second.
Have they? Why haven't they realized it sooner? Why are they just realizing it suddenly now?
Well, when you have two people who are one guy is on the ASIO watch list, okay, lives in a house where his father has guns and gun licenses. Then they run around.
Yeah, but
Okay,
this
wait a
poll
minute.
was
No,
going
wait
up
a minute.
before the
No, it
Bondi
wasn't
shooting.
not really though. Okay, and then what happens is, and they run around and start shooting people. Okay, when basically you can see there was, and what was quashed in the media was the negligence of the Labor government and of Prime Minister Albanese, and let it sit on his desk or something like that for how long? Okay, so they knew that these people were a threat. They were being watched by ASIO. They still had access to guns, and then they run around and killed innocent Australian people. Okay, and yes, it was targeted at the Jewish race, and then Australians can go, well, I'm not Jewish, so that's okay. I don't really care so much. Well, that's bullshit. Okay, we're all Australian, and we're all here, and you had terrorists running around with guns that they shouldn't have had the guns in the first place. And Pauline's been calling it out forever. And that's why the her popularity has changed, because you can see, and you know what? How unpopular, okay? There's a vacuum, okay? And she's been sucked up in the vacuum because we've got the most terrible prime minister we've ever seen in our history, okay? A terrible policies.
John the Boy says, I think the trend is right, but not the extent of what the polls say. So he's saying it's inflated. Dilemma says, what happened in Bondi and the Uniparty push through the speech and gun reform? That's what happened.
And another factor in, I think, Barnaby joining One Nation.
I think that's a big factor as well. We've got a credible.
Especially out in the bush.
Being a deputy prime minister, for God's sake.
Mark says the polls are BS. One Nation approval in Queensland would be high. In New South Wales, Victoria, etc., it will be in the low teens. As for Bernardi, he won't win anything in South Australia.
But Cory will win an upper house spot, believe me.
And what makes this person?
I'll give you a warning.
Commenting?
I'll tell you the bloke.
I'm just interested.
There was a bloke on Sky News during the week, a bloke called Chris Newman. Very well connected in the Labor Party. And he was talking to a Labor operative in South Australia. And I know all he said was they've done some polling in rural South Australia, and they're saying One Nation are out-polling the Liberal Party.
Of course.
Peter says there is more awareness.
If that's the case, Cory will win a spot.
Put it this way, last state election I ran, I would beat the Liberal Party in one or two booths.
Yeah.
And I was almost two-party preferred. I was almost the second player in that for a little while.
That's right.
And not for a long period of time. Obviously, the trend is your friend, and my trend went down.
Yeah.
But it was the first time out my way where, all of a sudden we're looking like, wow.
Yeah.
So it had changed even from back then, right? One Nation need decent people, decent candidates, and they need to keep their act together. Do that, and you're going to see big results.
I can understand that people, probably a lot of Liberal people as well, they've just given up on that party because it's chaos. I mean, Sam, you're telling me today that the coalition is back together now.
Well, they made an announcement at 12:30 in Canberra saying they've kissed and made up.
That's ridiculous. I mean, they've already broken up once. They got them back together. Then they broke up again. Then they got back together. People are looking at that going, you guys, there's no stability there.
It's an on and off. It's an on and off.
But I still don't think
girlfriend situation.
I wouldn't surprise if Susan Lake gets there's a
well, is that the key? Is the reason why One Nation is growing so much because people are looking at Susan Lee and going, nah.
No, the disharmony is the thing. The fighting between the Nationals and the Liberal Party and the Liberal Party within their own structures. Look at New South Wales Liberal Party. They're run by the moderates.
Yeah.
I think this is, and I've gone to a couple of branch meetings in One Nation. Gee, there's a lot of ex-Liberal people there, and their conservatives said, mate, we've got somewhere to run to now.
Does it last though? Like once people start, because I spoke to someone in the Nationals.
Nationals, okay.
And I was asking them, would you jump across to One Nation? And their concern is that there's no safeguards to jump. Like if you were to join One Nation and you read the One Nation Constitution, Pauline has all the power.
Correct.
Pauline can flick you in an instant if she gets a, if you look at her sideways and she doesn't like you anymore. Bye. See you later. Whereas there's some safeguards still within the Nationals and the Liberal Party and other parties.
Correct.
One Nation is basically a fascist dictatorship. And some people might say, well, that works well. I remember when we were in One Nation and Mark Latham ran it like that, and we were saying, hey, at least it works well. He's the leader. He's, everyone falls behind him.
Yeah.
But for these bigger players to come across and risk their reputations to join One Nation, look what happened to Tanya Mihalik. She joined One Nation. She ruined her reputation. she can't go anywhere else now. She's finished.
Well, she's got 12 months to go, and she's out in the big wide world.
So that's probably what's stopping people from jumping over. I think if One Nation really want to grow, and if she's serious about building the party, she has to hand over some responsibility and some power. And she might say, I can understand her sitting back and going, hey, I went to jail. I built this party from nothing over 30 years. Why should I now have to give up power and have the party was taken away from her once before. There's a risk it could happen again. It could happen to anyone. I get it. I understand. But if you really want to grow, you just have to take some...
A lot of things have changed the last couple of months. Once
Barnaby Joyce joined.
Barnaby joining, and some of the donors
come on board.
And the donors are big donors. And everyone knows it's Gina Reinhardt, but there's a lot of other people. I read something. So when you donate and someone donates of a Gina Reinhardt comes in, that means you've got to behave yourselves and start being disciplined.
Well, here's a comment from Mark. Mark says, don't agree. I believe that One Nation will do well in South Australia. Carlos is like a dog with a bone, which is a lot of meat still on it. But Carlos is no longer the number one candidate, right? It's Cory Bernardi now.
Cory's number one. But I think I saw a social media post to introduce Cory Bernardi to the One Nation, and right next to him was Carlos.
How do you think this Carlos bloke would feel? He's done the hard work, he's campaigned hard, and then he's just been bumped. See, this is the thing.
I was going to say something. There was an advertisement of Cory being to One Nation, and they were walking down some pier.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Carlos was on it. So this advertisement wouldn't have been done 2 days ago. This would have been done a week or 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I think he was always knew that Cory was always going to be on board.
I don't think he always knew.
So, but how do you know that it wasn't an ethical step back?
They might have turned around to him and said, "We'll bump you to 2, but with Cory as number 1, you'll get in because Cory will bring votes." Maybe they sold it to him that way.
Maybe he thought that Cory would be the better candidate.
Or you play the long game, play the long game thinking, I want to go to Canberra in 28, and they're polling 15-20% in South Australia.
Well, that gets him into the state parliament too, though, right?
I reckon 13%. If they get 13.5,
it gets them 2.
It'll get them 2.
Yeah, okay.
It depends what the others are and stuff. Depends what the major party votes are. But I just got this bloke. I heard this bloke said to me in the head on Sky the other day that unless Labor are lying to this person, which they generally wouldn't, that the One Nation are outpolling the Libs in rural South Australia, which is now it's only a lot of South Australia is all desert.
I was going to say, isn't it rural?
But I'm talking from the bottom, from Mount Gambier to the Western Australian border, the Port Lincoln. There's about 9 seats there, which is about probably about 400,000, 500,000 people.
Mark's got a question.
Yeah.
Mark says, who will be the One Nation leader should they have any success in the lower house? Well, it depends on who gets elected.
In South Australia.
Let's do both, South Australia and federally.
With due respect, the One Nation will not win a lower house seat.
Anywhere.
Federally or state?
In South Australia, they won't win a seat. Unless the Libs collapse in the Riverland around. There's a seat called Chaffey and a seat called McKillop and a seat called Mount Gambier.
Mark says I should get Carlos on. I was thinking about it, but he's bumped down to number 2 now. Why would I
get Cory?
I'm just joking.
Cory won't
come on.
Get that.
Yeah, you can't even get in contact with the bloke.
But coming to if we're going to go to the federal, if they're polling 25%, everyone think they'll win. For example, there are a couple of seats in rural Australia where you think they get 35%, but there's a problem. There's one problem. Both the majors and the Greens they'll gang up against One Nation and give all the preferences to anyone but One Nation, and that's the problem. Everyone thinks, unless they get to 42, 43%, they'll win the seat. But if it's 35, I just don't know how they're going to get to 50. I just don't know how they're going to get to 50.
What happens, Dilemma says that the Liberals have collapsed. Who in South Australia is going to vote Liberals anymore? No one that he knows of. He's in South Australia.
Is he in South Australia?
Yeah. So this
Ask you, are you in rural area?
God, here we go. Are you on the other side of the highway?
Well, it's just
Southwest.
there's a big difference between the country people and the city people.
Do the Liberals get decimated in South Australia?
They reckon they'll get wiped in the city. They will get wiped.
Why?
They just love Malinowskis. He's a personality, and he's from the right wing of the Labor Party too. He's from the shoppies.
Out of northern suburbs.
He's from the right, yeah.
Out of northern suburbs.
No, he's in the western suburbs.
No, Dilemmas is in outer northern suburbs.
Oh, up Port Adelaide way and stuff like that. Fair enough. Or Elizabeth. Yeah. But actually, One Nation don't poll not too badly up, and so does Family First. So it'd be interesting what happens in those northern suburb seats.
Mark says, this is a good comment from Mark, we need to let the Liberals continue to self-implode. They are not part of the future of our nation. If they can't call out the internationalist group think about influencing our nation, they are useless. At least One Nation does. Pretty good comment from Mark. Call in, Mark, if you're there.
I think that's important. I think that is also an important point, what you've made there, Mark, is that One Nation really do just call out the BS. So, even having them as minorly involved in politics as they are, okay? So you've got a couple of senators and bits and pieces here and there, a few people. At least they can still get it out. They can still call it out. They still have a platform. We need to grow it more.
Problem with the thing with the Liberal Party and the moderates in the Liberal Party, especially in Sydney and Melbourne, obviously when you're conservative or, there's only one place you could have voted, which was the Liberal Party. Now, I think what they find is some conservatives have worked out people like Turnbull's and Susan Ley and Alex Hawke and stuff like that. Well, you don't represent me anymore, and I don't need you anymore. Where they've taken the Liberal moderates have taken the conservatives for granted that they couldn't vote anywhere else. Now they have. How solid is that 25% of the One Nation is? Let's say over the next couple of months now they've kissed up and been in bed with each other now, the Nationals and the Libs. See how that goes. I know for a fact, people, there is an opinion poll coming out in the Australian news poll coming out tonight.
Well, that's a good question. Can One Nation sustain? I mean, it's like Reform UK. Can they sustain it? I mean, Reform's got even longer to get to the next election the next general election. It's like 4 years. But can One Nation get to 2028 and hold it up? I mean, I guess South Australia is a big test, as we've been saying.
The only problem with
Victoria, who knows what's going to happen there? And then I think New South Wales, March 2027, which is just over a year away, is going to be the real test on whether these polls are holding up.
Victoria's still a chance in the outer suburbs.
But I just feel like this whole thing's being fabricated. Like Sky News is just pumping this One Nation stuff over and over. And I get it. It's a story. It's what's on topic at the moment.
There's too many polls. It's too consistent.
I just feel like it's
Trend is your friend.
I just feel like it's being pumped out there though. Like there's for some reason someone wants
One Nation in.
I don't know.
Somebody wants One Nation in. I'll agree with that. I will agree with that because what happens is you're seeing Pauline in better light. Okay, they're not picking on her the way she speaks as much. You're getting better sound bites. You're getting better everything as far as One Nation goes.
Their social media
is going nuts.
They say they've employed a few people who are real social media people.
Well, I can tell you that
because money's coming in
they can
find the better.
Well, this is what happens. This is what happens now. So what happens is you're getting a bit bigger support. Now what happens is you're turning into the machine.
That's right.
Now you can afford to do it. Look, you know what? You start off a small business, okay? And you work really, really hard at it and you're doing all the work and you're doing it off a budget. You can't compete with the big guys, okay? All of a sudden, we're talking now, 20 or 30 years, right, of Pauline pounding the pavement, building up people, getting employee changes. Okay, we've had Lathams, we've had Mihaliks, we've had people come in and go. Okay, and now what happens is she's starting to find the right people for the job.
Can she hold the people she's just brought in?
Well, look, you know what the thing is too. You got Barnaby Joyce is no clown. He's been in the game well long enough.
Was Mark Latham a clown?
I'm not saying Mark Latham
was a clown. Craig Kelly a clown?
I'm not saying that Craig Kelly
I
was.
mean, with all
either,
these
but
people have come along. I mean,
No.
how is Barnaby different to them?
I think Barnaby.
Craig.
Well, I think.
How's
I
Cory
think-
Bernardi different to? I mean,
No,
Cory
I think-
Bernardi, from what I've heard, likes to rule the roost.
No, I think that Mark Latham was obviously better on the level of Barnaby. Okay, so I think Mark Latham. I don't like being trapped like that. You. Okay, so I don't think I don't liken clowns to Mark Latham. I think that, in my opinion, and in my opinion only, Craig Kelly lost a lot of credibility leaving the Liberal Party.
Yeah, we've got a caller. Let's bring him on. Mark Neugebauer. Hopefully this works because we've got.
We've had a lot of
we thought the
gremlins.
whole system was. Yeah, we've got plenty of gremlins today. How you going, mate?
Hey, buddy. Hope you can hear me okay. You're very grainy today. You're very. Your signal must be really bad. How am I coming through there to you guys?
Yeah, we've got you loud and clear. Good to hear. It's a whole new setup. So there's a whole bunch of stuff I need to figure out. I think I know what the problem is with the image, but people seem to be able to hear us okay.
Yeah, sound's coming through. No worries at all. It's just a bit hazy on the image. That's all.
So you're on the ground in South Australia. Firstly, last time we talked, you were talking about running as an independent, and you've decided not to do that now. Are you planning to do anything for the South Australian election?
Pretty much just commenting via my platforms myself. So trying to get, I'm looking at support. I've been trying to support as many of the parties, the sort of conservative, centre right-leaning parties, because let's face it, Labor and Liberal don't need any support because they've got the media. It's a two-horse race as far as the media is concerned. The media will give Labor and Liberal all the platform, right? So my message has really been showing people, I'm trying to organise interviews with the candidates from different parties as well. And the reasoning for me stepping back is because the Legislative Council ballot's going to be long enough as it is, and I didn't want to dilute the vote any further. Plus there was some other personal stuff going on. But running as an independent's a tough gig. Trying to get 95,000 votes as an independent in the Legislative Council, it's a bit of a task, let alone the parties that are currently running. So that was one of the reasons that I pulled back on that. So that's
Mate,
kind of.
I think as a commentator, I think that fits you very well. As people might know, you've been published in The Spectator, and you've got a very, very good podcast. Let us know where people can watch the podcast, because you've already started interviewing some of the candidates down in South Australia, right?
Yeah, I'm actually, what you mentioned, we're talking about Carlos. I'm waiting for Carlos to come on. He's just had a lot going on, but going to give him quite a bit of space and scope to really talk into a lot of the stuff that we've been talking into. But yeah, I've rebranded to Faith Culture Politics in Australia. I'm on Rumble and YouTube. It was South Australia in focus, but a bit of a rebrand. And obviously, I had a Family First Senate candidate or Legislative Council candidate on. Looking to interview a few more of the One Nation candidates, whether in the lower house or the Legislative Council, and others. And the opportunities there, I've given the opportunity for anybody that does want to reach out to me to have their 15, 20 minutes, half an hour of explaining what they're all about and talking about, the reason that they're running, why their party's different to Labor and Liberal, and give them the opportunity to have a yarn.
Sam, you wanted to ask... I know you were asking about Family First in South Australia as well.
I've checked up the last couple of days or so. I can't see any of their online or anything. I can't see any of their lower house candidates. They got any lower house candidates at the moment?
No, they do. They reckon I've got about 15 to 16 lower house candidates, but their focus is predominantly on the Legislative Council, because they see that's where a lot of the pushback needs to happen. The Labor,
you still need a bit of ground game. That's
yeah, you still need some, and it's really just about candidates putting their hands up as well, right? So this is the issue. It's really tough when you're coming into a smaller minor party where people feel confident enough to jump on board as a lower house candidate and a party that's not. We're looking at maybe 30,000 votes in the last election for Family First. Now, that was a rebranding of them. There was obviously they'd started quite a while ago, and they've kind of rebranded as well now, and they've got Deepa Matthews who's at the head of it, and their policies are very much Christian conservative policies, although they are talking a lot into the stuff that's happening around our nation in regards to housing and all the other things that are really putting stress on people. They're definitely pushing back vehemently on the renewables here in South Australia, the net zero. So there's a lot going on.
they'll win a seat?
I think they should back the winner.
Mark,
Look, at
do you
the
think
end
they'll
of
win
the
the
day,
seat?
look, to be honest with you, I think there's a good possibility that they could. Look, at the end of the day, if everybody that is conservative, right, centre right, all put their votes behind One Nation, you'll obviously get. I personally believe there's about 3 legislative council spots for.
So you think Labor win 5?
I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that they're on the nose enough because of the pushback that they've been getting on a lot of the social
But they'll
issues.
win. They'll definitely win.
They'll get 4.
Win
Look,
4.
they're very popular. I mean, you mentioned before about Peter Malinauskas. He's more on the right side of the Labor Party. He's a very popular minister. But at the end of the day, there's also some fracture happening there. And this is what I've been trying to say to the. I look at it as for One Nation, definitely. Should be on the front foot. And just to mention about that, I think this is a time where Pauline and HQ need to step back. This is just my personal opinion. They need to step back and allow the South Australia team to do what the South Australia team does and not get involved, and let them continue to build their brand and build their team. And that's if that's Carlos and Cory working together, because I've had conversations with Carlos, and he's always said that he's happy to step back even if a better person comes along. He said that because for him it's about the betterment of the state, right? What's best for the people of South Australia. He's like many of us, an unwilling participant in wanting to get involved in politics, but he's just had enough of what's happening to our country and our state, and that's why he put himself forward. But I think if you bring him on,
I think you'll find that the social media is all done from Brisbane. It's all centralised. I think, and that won't change. But it's a very slick operation compared to what it was 12 months ago. It's much more slicker and much more professionally done. And another thing, do you think Libs will get wiped out even in the country seats, those seats in the southeast?
Look, I think, and I hope they do. To be honest, personally, that's my personal opinion. I think at the end of the day, the Libs have had their day. They've got options. They've got options with other parties, and One Nation's got 47 candidates, all 47 seats. There's options. I really, this is just my personal opinion. As much as people say, look at the strong Conservatives that put their head up in the Legislative Council. You know what? They have had years to pull back from that party or challenge the agendas, the machinations, and the factional fighting in that party for years. They've come up short. Liberals need to implode and someone else needs to take their place. As I said in my comment, the only way that the Liberals could ever find any form back is that they actually started challenging the influence over our nation by internationalists, and they start calling out all the BS. I mean, I think they've been dragged kicking and screaming into this reversal on renewables, not because they've wanted to, but because they could see themselves imploding, and that's the only reason that they challenged that. But they're still all for the Paris Climate Agreement and all that. My personal opinion is stop thinking about what's going to happen to the Liberals. Let them go, let them implode. Focus for our state, the focus should be on attacking Labor and getting seats off them. They are dangerous for the future of our state as far as I'm concerned.
I wanted to ask you that question, Mark. What happens to South Australia with another 4 years of Labor and Peter Malinauskas? Are you concerned about the direction of South Australia?
100% I'm concerned. I mean, look, for starters, it's the net zero thing, right? They're still fully on board with pushing renewables. Now, we've seen what's happened with that in our state. We have got no energy security at all. Now, that is impacting our cost of living. That's impacting on many costs. And then you have got the same as Labor. Where's the housing improvement? Where's all the houses being built? They keep all these slogans saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, coming up to election. We've still got massive ramping. 3 years ago, they told us they were going to fix ramping in hospitals.
It's got worse, hasn't it, Mark? What I've read.
Yeah, absolutely. The health system's absolutely crushed over here. So look, and as far as their socialist stance, Peter Malin, we've got guys in women's prison. Like, he doesn't even have an opinion on that, right? Now that's a cultural kind of issue, but at the end of the day, it's still an important issue for a lot of people, right? We want to protect our girls and our women. We don't need men in women's sports, and if he's not going to have a position on that, if he's just going to go, oh, whatever, right?
Yeah.
The same as the late term abortion. And there was no support from Labor with that, right? That's on people's minds. That's why
Sarah Game tried to do that, didn't she?
Yeah, and look, and the thing is, if you look at it, a lot of Liberals jumped ship, a lot of conservative Christian Liberals jumped ship from the Liberal Party during 2022 when that bill went through, when that was through under Marshall government, right? And people they have long memories. So look, the Labor Party is not the answer for the future of our country. I have massive concerns about their social agenda in general. That's just me. I mean, obviously, the vote was different 2022. Look how much he got voted in by, right? I mean, I may have it totally wrong, and there may be no change in that at all, and they may get through in a landslide again. But I'm hoping for people to join, come together, and it's all, for me, it's about preferencing. If you think One Nation is the party that's going to really give Labor a shellacking, then get behind them, but not just them. If there's enough legislative council seats, well, let's just talk the upper house. If there's enough seats there for us to get, and One Nation gets burnt out through all that, let's say they get 2 or 3 even. If everybody preferences correctly, there's a potential to get maybe a Family First or a Fair Go or a United Voice Australia party candidate in there as well. Now, these guys have indicated that they're sort of more, they're not as, far left leaning or socialist leaning as the other parties.
I personally think this is my prediction. I know it's still a bit out, but I still think Labor win 5 seats upstairs. The Greens win 1. Depends on what do you think the Liberals are going to poll? Do you think they'll poll 25% or less?
Less. Look, I think, and even I think Anthony Green or other commentators were talking about them not even getting anywhere near 3 seats, and they'd be lucky to get the 2, right?
They'd say they get between 16 and 20, which gives them over quota for 2. So that you're talking. So I think the Greens might win 2 seats. I think that they might get to 13%. Or if they don't, it could well be the animal justice person winning it, or it could be the legalised cannabis person.
Well, they fell quite short as well. Well, they're Labor anyway. I mean, they polled about 30,000.
This is 3 years, this is 4 years later. I'm just telling you that they're the machinations. I personally think I think deep down, I think the Libs will only win 2 or maybe 3. I think One Nation will definitely win 1, and I don't know about a second one. So I still think that leaves a gap of 1 or 2. I personally I don't think Family First have done enough work on the ground to win a spot.
Mark, we'll let you go in a sec, but I don't know if you know too much about Cory Bernardi, but do you think state parliament will suit him? I mean, we've seen Mark Latham here in New South Wales be an effective state member of parliament, but generally, once you've been in the federal parliament, most politicians don't like going back to the state parliament. How do you think he'll be in the state parliament? Do you think that will suit him?
Well, I think the biggest thing to look at is he's a guy that's pulled himself almost out of retirement to look at this. He obviously sees either One Nation being the party that's going to drive forward and get traction. But if you're going to make that sort of call, you're not going to go in at half-hearted, are you? You're going to go and say, well, I'm going to be doing this, and I'm going to jump into this to give it my best shot. I mean, I haven't had much to do with Cory myself. Not sure about his whole overall thinking, but I'd like to think personally is if I was going to make that call for someone that's had his kind of stint in the federal arena, that you're not going to go into it half-hearted and not give it your best shot, right? You're going to give it your best shot, surely.
I think Cory's the sort of guy. Cory's the sort of guy, he'll do it full, and he won't. And if he doesn't like it, he'll just resign and go back to private life. He won't muck around as an independent. He'll just leave the parliament and say, I try to make the mess of it to One Nation. People say, I've had my best, I'm leaving. Get someone in there, because I don't know. It wasn't the right fit for me and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know to hit the man himself say. It could be, you just don't know what he's thinking.
Yeah, no, right, exactly Mark. Right. Thank
the last
you
thing I
very
wanted to
much.
say before I do, I'm not sure how many South Australian voters you have got, or people that you have got voting there, but I think, and I've banged on about this in my podcast, there was around 160,000 South Australians that didn't vote in 2022, right? That is nearly 2 legislative council candidates, right? And and generally the people that don't vote are the ones that go, oh, the system's stuffed, I can't do anything anyway, right? That's just my take on it. I might be totally wrong.
Yeah.
Now, all I'm saying to the people out there, if you've got people listening, if you've got friends that are all saying, no, stuff it, I'm not going to vote, what difference is it going to make? You have the potential to get 2 legislative council candidates in that legislative council on the centre right side if you decide to get out there and actually just put a mark on the legislative council ballot. You can do whatever you want with a lower house if you don't want to play the game, but at least give an opportunity.
Because in the upper house, it's optional preferential voting. So you just put 1 and your vote counts.
Yeah, but I'm recommending people to preference as well and preference the like-minded candidates and parties.
For those people who don't like voting, if you want to keep it simple and get the person in, just put 1 on the person and that's it, and your vote is counted.
And then walk out. Exactly. Good point.
But we should let people know that don't know enough about the preference system. Put a backstop. If you're voting in the upper house or even in the lower house, and you got this optional preference.
Lower house in South Australia, you've got to do the whole box.
Oh, so it's only upper house.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So if you're going to vote upper house and you're going to only vote 1 or whatever, and you say, for example, you want to vote for the Family First Party, well, you got to realise that your vote will probably exhaust, right? So the idea of having a backstop is that you put a party there at the end, whether you put it as number 2 or number 10 or whatever you want to choose. At your last party that you put down and your number is a party that can get elected. So you want your vote to go somewhere.
So if you're from the centre right, the way the polling is at the moment, there'll either be a Liberal or One Nation.
Or One Nation. Yeah, that's right.
I would do One Nation.
Good on you, legends. Keep doing what you're doing, guys.
Thank you so much, Mark. I really enjoyed your comments and your great commentary. Thanks, mate.
You too, legends. Good on you. And reach out to Carlos, man. I'm pretty sure you'd be happy. It'll be a good interview. Trust me. Get it straight from the horse's mouth, mate, not me.
Yeah, sounds good, mate. All right, thanks.
See you, legends.
All right, all the best, guys. He's probably a very busy person leading up to the election.
All right.
I got to be honest with you with his preferences and stuff like that. Okay, I know you're a big fan of it and all that. To be honest with you, if you want One Nation to win, put 1.
Yeah.
Just go for the 1. Okay, make sure your vote's valid. Okay, so if you have to put 5 5 votes in.
Yeah, we should make that clear. So lower house, the small ballot paper, you have to number every box. This is South Australia. Just South Australia state election. Right? Upper house, the big long ballot paper, you can put 1 and walk away, or you can number as many boxes as you like.
Above the line.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about below the line?
Well, both lines, it's normally 15 or 16, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, we'll say it on there.
Look, look, make your vote count, okay, and follow the way to make the vote valid, okay? Yeah. You don't need to put, my wife, my husband, my dick, or any of this stuff. Okay,
you know what I mean? Last one,
my dick, right? Well, because you know what I mean. Like you don't need to draw dicks and balls and stuff on there. Okay, if you're going to go there to do a vote. Yeah. Okay, pick your party and vote for it. I don't care who you vote for. But what I'm saying is, if you are a conservative person and you want One Nation to win, put 1 in the box. Give him the vote, give him the money, and that's the way it works.
I've got a few comments here that I want to get your comments from, boys. So the first one's from Dilemmas. If Antic, as in Alex Antic, moves to One Nation, that will pull a huge amount of votes from Liberals in South Australia.
Agreed.
I was going to make a comment about Antic.
Yeah,
I saw that he wasn't considering it.
I reckon he's considering it after the election. If One Nation polled 15-16%, he'll cross over.
Were you telling me that there's a split in the Conservative faction?
The faction of the Liberal Party. I think Mark. I didn't bring it up with Mark. There is you got the Wets who are led by Pine and a few other blokes in the Liberal Party in South Australia. But on the right wing side, you've got Alex Antic, who was a real big player. But what's happened now is some of the old guard right wing have split away from Alex Antic and moved to a girl called, what's her name? The girl that was with Booby. She was the member for Booby.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I'll remember her name.
Okay. Here's another one.
Flint. What's her name? What's her
Nicole Flint?
Nicole Flint.
Yeah, okay.
She's basically trying to run the right wing of the Liberal Party.
Okay, good luck to her.
And the good thing with it, if Antic does leave Liberals and go to One Nation, he's got a lot of workers, a lot of members who are Liberal Party, and they follow Alex Antic. They'll leave the Liberal Party and join One Nation.
Good. Yeah, well, I think Alex is probably better suited for One Nation.
I like Alex.
Although he's a good Liberal too. He should be a Liberal leader.
Well, he's a problem. So the problem is he's proper Liberal.
Yeah,
I know. Menzies Liberal.
Comment here from Danielle. Recent polls show that One Nation has started to chip at Labor and the Greens.
Taking votes from them now.
More Labor than the Greens, that's for sure. Yeah, there's no doubt 2 or 3% have come from the Labor, and I think that's come on the outer fringes of the major cities of the country.
John the Boys says, is Sarah Game up for re-election? No, she's not. And if so, will she retain? She won't retain if she is up for election, though, right?
Well, she's not till 4 years' time.
But when she comes up again,
well, it depends. She's got a candidate. She's got a party called
Fair Go for Australians,
and their candidate who's running upstairs is an AFL Adelaide Crows captain of the 90s.
Yeah,
a bloke called Chris McDermott.
Okay,
he's would be a very popular person.
Did we find out what happened with Fair Go? Because last I heard, Henry Davis, who's been on this podcast, he had a meeting, an executive meeting of the party by himself, and fired Sarah Game and her mother, Jennifer Game, and someone else, and took over the party. And well, I guess that didn't happen. Sarah seems to be in control. Did we hear what happened with that?
No, I don't.
No? Okay.
But they're supposed to be, they say she's running about 10 or 15 candidates in the seats around
yeah, I don't
Australia.
I mean, she's done the hard work. Well, she's done work, but you know.
It's the mother. She's the smart girl. She really knows how to put her politics.
Okay, this one from Mark. Mark says, what are One Nation policies? Well, Mark, it's not hard to go on a website and honestly,
I think it's just a troll.
How hard is it to bring up the One Nation website and look at their policies? Honestly. Okay, so here it is, the One Nation website. You can head to onenation.org.au. /issues. This is not an advertisement for One Nation. This is just everyone.
It is an advertisement for One Nation.
It is from Adam's side.
Well, they're polling 25, so they've come from nowhere to be on 25.
Okay, so family tax policy. A lot of this hasn't changed since the 2022 election when we were there. Slash
Solid
government
policies.
waste. You can click on these and read more information about it. Free speech policy, water, Australian jobs and infrastructure, new housing, cost of living measures, citizens initiated referenda, climate, family law and child support, farming, foreign ownership, education, immigration, medical cannabis, stop the rorts, multinational taxation. That's a good one. Read that one. Firearms ownership, health, COVID-19 policy, pro-life, fisheries, forestry, net zero is destroying Australia. Malcolm Roberts probably wrote that one.
Yep.
The real impacts of net zero, embracing Australian coal, embracing Australian gas, embracing nuclear and hydro.
Yep.
Lowering prices for households, businesses, and industry. So there it all is, mate. Go on the website and read the policies.
Good policies, if you ask me, because it's about grassroots. It's about the people. They're the party. They're the party. I've been saying it since I joined and since I started. The minor parties should all just bend the knee and go to the one that's got the most chance.
Well, hey, let's talk about that, because Mr. John Ruddick in the Libertarian Party here in New South Wales came to so many events. I don't know how many times I heard him say this, including probably an event I put on from memory. And he said, oh, yes, all the minor parties should merge, but let's just see what happens at the next election, and maybe we can all form an alliance.
Yeah.
But if one of these minor parties gets out in front, then we should just all join them and fall in behind them. Well, John,
One Nation's
John, time to join One Nation. I think you'd be a very good One Nation.
Great One Nation.
I think you would be a great One Nation member of Parliament. You can ditch all that libertarian garbage that you go on with. I mean, it's probably the only blight on you. I think John Ruddick is one of the best political operators in this country. Ditch the libertarian garbage, join One Nation, and, mate, you probably take off like a rocket.
Well, I just think that it's the common sense party. Okay. And the thing is, you got to read the room and you got to read the temperament on the street. And the temperament on the street is basically the One Nation way.
I love John the Boy. Thank you, John, for writing this. Libertarians have hardly any policies on their website. They're a lost cause. Well, they have hardly any support either. So,
no, but the thing is, they have hardly any policies because it's all about freedom to do whatever the hell you want.
I still can't get over the fact that here in New South Wales they overlooked Steve Christou. I mean, you've got some of the caliber of Steve Christou. I saw something the other day. Catherine Deves posted something where she had been voted on this list. I think it was about 16 people of the most influential conservative people out there, and she was voted on there. You know who else was on there? Steve Christou.
Right.
I mean, they've got this shiny like bit of gold that is sitting there within their party, and they voted him number 3 for their upper house ticket.
I mean,
what a joke!
That's number 3.
The one good thing
they picked him. No, well, he's not. Now he's running for Granville.
I saw that,
but
sorry.
out of the 3, I reckon he should have run uncontested. The party should have laid down, got on their knees, and said, "We're not worthy."
Yeah,
that's what they should have done.
We were just talking about the democratic process in the parties. That's the one thing that's holding One Nation back. That is the one thing about the libertarians do have, is that democratic process, and they get voted in by them.
Well, come back and bit them in the arse, didn't it?
Well, you know what? That's what the people wanted.
That's a Ruddock and Cameron's early theory, and that's what they've done in how to select candidates. The way that Gemma Minosi got is basically on the Ruddock.
Who?
Gemma Minosi.
Who?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Who?
Yeah, I know.
Who's Gemma name? The what? Steve Christou should have been. Anyway, that's enough talk about them. They're going nowhere. What else?
What do you think, Lyle? I'm disappointed in Lyle. I thought Lyle Shelton and Family First in South Australia be a bit more forward. I find their social media. There's nothing on their social media.
It's budget. It's fun. It's budget. If they haven't got the sponsorship, if they haven't got donations, if they haven't got the big memberships, if they haven't got money coming in, how do you spend it?
That's right. Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, One Nation's been through that.
We just comment on how slick the One Nation social.
Well, it only just got slick because what happened?
Donors.
You started getting donors. You started making progress. You started playing the big game.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't have these parties. I know that Lyle Shelton's, they've been around for ages and stuff like that, right? But you basically formed a new party. Okay. You're starting from scratch. You have to do the hard yards. You have to do the work. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
Wow.
What's happened? It's gone berserk.
The Libertarian Party, South Australia, did not get registered in time.
Oh, really?
So they're not running in the state election. This is
Who said that? Mark, is it?
Nuji. That might be
fair income.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one. You're kidding.
My God.
You are kidding.
That's hilarious.
Look, we know
that
that
will save
Stephen
half-
doesn't like libertarians and stuff like that. Look, some of their policies and some of the way that I like the way that they work.
They're just so self-righteous and
Oh, it's
full of
self-righteous.
garbage.
Look,
I will say this, though, because you're right, Adam. I've noticed this by doing a lot of research into World War II history. The right is very bad at attacking itself and not working together. The left are much better at it, and that's generally how they get ahead.
Well,
so we do need to stop sniping each other, but I don't consider the libertarians as part of the right anymore. They're out on their own, I think.
Look, I don't like. Look, I've had these arguments many times with like John Ruddock and just the party and people in general. Don't like the idea that there's free for all on like with foreign ownership on private land, on business, and all that kind of stuff. They would have the biggest thing that I hate about the libertarian. Well, not hate. That's a horrible word. What I dislike about libertarian policy is that they would just sell everything to anyone who has the money to buy it.
Yeah.
And I do, and yes, in a perfect world, I always think libertarianism would work if that's what we had from the very start.
If we're a utopia.
Yes, that's right. And unfortunately, we're not a utopia, and we cannot make that, and that won't work. Okay, the principles might look good on paper. It's. I know it's the complete opposite to communism and all that kind of stuff, right? But it's the same thing. Looks all right on paper.
Still ideology,
right? But it don't work. Okay, unfortunately, people are going to be corrupted, and we need people to stop that corruption.
Don't get me wrong. I know some people libertarians. We know Richard.
There's good people in there.
Some good people.
Good people in there.
You know what?
I don't like some of the hierarchy people.
No, you can't make it personal.
Rank and file people are quite nice people.
But you can't make it.
I like
personal.
most of them.
I got to be honest with you.
I like most of them except for one or two.
I think all people, not all, but most people in politics, Labor, Liberal, Greens, whatever the hell. Okay, I think on their own, they're all pretty good people. On your own, they're good people.
You know what
it's the ideology or the party line that destroys the person.
You know what Barnaby said? Barnaby said at a podcast, I think it was on Channel 7, he said, or some other, he said, I talk to people from the Greens. I talk to people from the Labor Party. He said, I'm not going to change their ideology. So you talk to them normally. and try and talk normally. Don't talk about politics. So you talk to them normally, and you'll find that
they're normal people.
I've been told these Barnaby away from politics. Everyone likes Barnaby.
Yeah,
yeah. Because
I like
publicly,
Barnaby.
they won't. A lot of the. Well, I got told a lot of the Labor people like Barnaby. I can't say it publicly.
But I can see. So okay,
I know for a fact that he's very good mates with one of the Greens. Real good mates.
Even in council. So even in council, okay. Yeah. Well, so we forget that I'm actually a politician too, right? So I forget it myself, right? But what happens? No, I forget it, right?
Yeah.
But what happens? I don't look at myself as a politician, right? But what I'm saying is that outside of the chambers, we all get along. Look, I'm not saying we're all best mates. I know that there are a couple of people who don't like me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, fine.
Is that because you were with One Nation?
It's because I think there's a bit of they're intimidated for some reason by me or something. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what it is. There are a few people that don't like me. I get it. Okay,
you have a brain and you're capable and you think.
Well, in general. Okay, and I'm a bit of I'll admit I'm a bit of a smart ass. I give him a bit of lip and stuff like that too. Okay, and I bend the rules a bit with in the chambers. Yeah. Okay, and they'll hear me.
As long as you know the procedures, if you're smart, because if you know your procedures, that means you're on top of the game. These other people are lazy.
I'm not great with the procedures. I'm getting better, right? But I'm still learning. But what I'm saying is that outside of the chambers, we all can get along and we can all talk and stuff like that. Yeah. That's what happens inside. That's where that political line goes. That's why it was so important to, that's why I think when we talk about Australians for Better Government, okay, is by having independent senators or independent upper house. So they're not affiliated. They can all actually work together and work on policy together.
Well, a lot. Can
I just quickly, I've got a comment from Miss Silva. If you click the live stream link to call in, is it a phone call or video call? It's a video call. So you go through, you can use your laptop or you can use your phone. Probably use your phone. It's probably the easiest way. Just click the link.
Turn the camera off too if you don't want to be seen.
No, you have to have the camera.
Oh, you do?
Or you just have an audio call if you want.
Just wear some clothes if you're in your undies or something like that. Look presentable.
No, you don't have to worry about that. Just don't be in the bath.
But yes, it's just like a Zoom or
Zoom call,
something like that. Yeah, you might. I think nowadays you have to download an app on your phone.
No, I think you can just click the link and go for it. Call in.
Also, this is interesting. I don't feel this way, but Dilemma says Bondi turned me into an accelerationist. If we have to smash the two-party system immediately, or at least the two parties in their current form. Do you think Bondi really upset people? I mean, I think it did at the time. Do you think it's?
I think Bondi made Australia a bit more nationalist.
Do you think?
Well, the world as a trend that is going away from globalism and going back to nationalism.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, as a trend. Okay, and what happens is, don't forget, Australia's 5-10 years behind everyone else anyway.
That's right.
So what happens is when we have things that hit us on the ground like that, it wakes people up.
Yeah.
Right, and the best way to accelerate that is by voting for One Nation and getting more power to the One Nation people.
Well, Dilemma says I'm a Rennictarian.
Yeah,
He's the Aussie Ron Paul.
He ain't got no chance. Rennick's got no chance. I like Gerard Rennick. I think he's really, really good. I like his finance talk. I like the way he deals with money, and I wish he would join One Nation, because then he would give One Nation a financial.
You're really back on the One Nation bandwagon.
I'm not back. I'm back on it because the fact of the matter is that whether it's the perfect party for the job or not, it's the only party that can do the job right now.
This is good because now we can have big arguments. We don't normally argue about it.
Who else is going to do it? Who else is going to do it? Rennick?
I wish I could think of someone.
Right, because there's no one else. This is what I'm saying.
I think I'm going to join Labor.
Oh, you're good. I like Gerard Rennick. I like Gerard Rennick. I think he has very valid and good points.
Looks like Turnbull's going to join or form a coalition with the Teals, so maybe I can be a moderate Teal.
You be a moderate Teal?
I live on the Northern Beaches.
Yeah, well, good. You'll never see me again. I'm out.
Come on.
No.
Just because of my political views?
Well, you know what? If people don't start taking it, who was that lady that talked about since Bondi she became a more
That was Dilemmas. It was a boy, a man.
That person, or who that person? Sorry, right? When I think of Dilemma, it sounds.
I think Dilemmas is a bloke.
I don't know. It sounds Dilemmas. Change your call sign or something. It sounds a bit Dilemmas.
Yeah.
Anyway,
change it to John or something.
Right, but what I was going to say is,
we're getting a few talks.
But you're an accelerationist, okay? God damn, I lost it now. Sorry, I lost my point.
Talking about Bondi being an accelerationist to get rid of the major parties.
My accelerant was when Charlie Kirk got assassinated.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay, so then what happens is now you start speaking out. Okay, so I'm stronger and more loud. I'm louder about my faith. I'm louder about my opinion of Australia, and I'm loud about the people who are leading Australia.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that.
And that should be the case. That should be the case.
As a comeback to what I said the other day, moments before, I mean, I saw more Australian flags where I live than I've seen.
Here's a question for you, Sam.
Yeah.
This is from John the Boy.
Yeah.
What's One Nation's influence on the Victorian election? Who the hell knows what's happening? In
I mean,
Victoria?
they kept voting in what's his name.
Although there was.
Dilemma says, "How dare you assume my gender, you bigot?" Gender fluid. Then. Okay?
Oh, really? Okay, wrong station.
I was.
It's true.
Oh dear, it's a good one.
They say there's momentum. Even I'll talk after we all stop laughing.
There you go. I'm all right.
Well, they say there's momentum.
Sorry.
Next subject.
No, keep going.
They say that there's momentum in One Nation in Victoria from polling. That's all.
Talk to me about Bernie Finn. So he's joined One Nation, but it seems like he's joined One Nation and he's doing it all himself. I haven't seen any.
No,
announcement.
You've got Warren Pickering, and you've got the One Nation branch. They're working hard.
No, but what I'm saying is there's been no announcement from the One Nation side to say that they're embracing Bernie Finn.
My mail is that he's not going to get anywhere. It's pretty good mail.
But why? If you ran Bernie as the One Nation candidate in Western Metro, he'd probably win, right?
I think they've got someone there ready to go.
As good as Bernie Finn?
Yeah, that's my mail is. My mail's pretty good down there.
I know who your mail is from, so yes, it's true.
I don't know who his mail's from.
It's pretty good mail.
Oh, it's like, I don't think
gender neutral who your female's from.
No, my mail in Victoria is good.
Do you know why they don't want to go with Bernie?
I think he's just past his use by date, personally. I don't think, well, what's there to do? What more does he want?
Once he wants to get back in there and stop abortion.
Well, the person replacing him's probably got the same issues. It's a party policy.
One Nation's policy is pro-life, so that's a good thing.
And
there you go, Christians.
Western Metro.
Look
Western
at the policies. Christians out there.
Western Metro's changed from his day.
Yeah, but with his personal support plus One Nation polling as high as they are at the moment, you think it would be a no-brainer, right?
I think
as opposed to putting some nobody in there.
One Nation vote probably is more prominent outside the city of Melbourne.
We'll put him there. You can put him anywhere.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, but my mail is
surely there's somewhere they can put Bernie Finn.
Mornington.
You can run in the lower house if you want to, in some Western suburb seat in the lower house.
Maybe.
You ain't going to do that.
I just don't understand.
I'm just saying my mail is pretty good that you ain't going anywhere.
Okay. Do you think there's a bit of self-preservation?
No, I think they've got to replace. They've got someone in. My mail is the Western Metro candidate is a very good candidate.
Oh, we'll find out. I'm going to vet that.
And as I said to you, Stephen, my mail is pretty good.
I know we have said that, and I agreed with you. All right. Any more One Nation stuff that you want to finish on before? I mean, I'm still fishy about this polling.
Bend the knee, fall in line.
25%. I don't think 25% is fair income. I think.
Well, talk to me about this. You never left One Nation. You always stay very loyal. I mean, and true to what they stood for. You've always pretty much been under the tent. I was the one who left.
Yeah.
And do you think that, in retrospect, that was a good decision?
No. Where did it get you?
So wait, we've discussed this personally. I don't know if we should say stuff personally or what, Stephen. What did I say to you?
Oh, here we go. I'm right again.
Do you think I should say this publicly?
No, I still think I made the right decision. Yeah. And I think
the way you're conducting, the way you're doing now, doing podcasts, and I think it's great that you are independent now.
Yeah.
That's agreed.
I feel better off being independent.
The only way you can get into Parliament, I'm saying this publicly, is if someone asks you to run on a certain on tickets and stuff like that.
And I think I learned a lot seeing the Liberals from within. I think the advice I was getting at the time that I should leave One Nation and join the Liberals was obviously wrong. Well, from what's happened since.
I told you, and you can say publicly that I told you not to do that, didn't I?
Yeah. But I think ultimately it was still the right decision. Yeah. I think, as you said, I'm better off being outside all the political parties at the moment. But I do have an itch to get back and run as a candidate at some point. But where do I land?
No, but the thing was, at that point, when you wanted to be like parliamentarian, I know you still wanted it.
Yeah.
You want it far more than I do. I can tell you, we all know that, right?
Yeah.
I think you should have. I think you did the right thing because I think One Nation treated you badly.
It wasn't so much how the One Nation treated me; it was how they run upstairs internally.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with their policies. It had nothing to do with the people within One Nation, their candidates, anything like that. It was who's running the show up the top. And I'm not talking about Pauline so much. And those issues haven't been resolved. It's not like they've cleared up those issues. The stuff that Mark Latham and Rod Roberts were talking about in Parliament, and you can go read Hansard if you want to know about that stuff.
It was in August 23.
None of that stuff has been resolved. That's still going on. So if a lot of people that are putting their faith behind One Nation do need to do a little bit of due diligence. And I think, look, I've noticed from that time, most people don't want to hear a bad word said about Pauline because I think they look at you and they go, oh, not her too. So she's a little bit Teflon that way. They don't want to hear, they don't care about the internal workings of One Nation. All they want to know is that when they elect a One Nation person, they'll go into Parliament and they're going to
do what they say.
And they do what they say in regards to the policies that they're putting out there. I think that's what people really care about. I took a more, I guess, a stance outside that, but I think the general person out there are not going to give a damn about what happens within the party.
And if someone does a hit job, on One Nation in the Guardian and the ABC, they're not going to listen to that.
That's tainted anyway. You can't believe that. And
I'm trying to say, if they do a hit job on her, no one's going to listen to that anymore.
Mark says, so speak about the issues, please. It's important to those who are jumping on this bandwagon. What issues specifically do you want us to talk about, Mark?
Well, I don't think Mark knows what the issues actually are.
The problem is that this sort of stuff's liable, so we can't probably say it.
We can't talk about this stuff, but go and have a look at Hansard and things like that.
Oh, you mean the issues that I was talking about?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, go on Mark Latham's website where you said August 2023.
Go to New South Wales parliamentary website.
Or look up at Four Corners. You can find this on YouTube. Four Corners from 2017. It's called Please Explain. And it talks about how One Nation was operating at the time. And from what I know, nothing much has changed. So
I watched
go watch that.
No, I watched that, and I reckon that one's that's not a. I think that's really that's a hit job too. I don't think it's fact. I don't think that one I've watched because that's about the airplane, and I don't think that's fully factual. No. Okay, now I'm going to say something about One Nation. I'm going to say that they fall under the same jurisdiction and rules of what do you call it? What's the commission?
Electoral Commission.
The Electoral Commission. Yeah. Electoral Commission and
found nothing.
No, and what's the one that you get done? ICAC.
ICAC,
right? So
New South Wales.
They fall under ICAC.
I never said anything that they're doing is
no. So this is what I'm saying, right? So when
technically what they're doing is legal,
right? So if they're technically doing something that's technically legal, then they're not doing anything illegal, then it's a non-issue. Okay. So the way the parties run.
My main issue is how they treat their candidates.
Yeah, I don't look. You know what? It is a hard pill to swallow. But in saying that as well, right? They are a small party, okay. And all right. Let's take it to small business, okay? Okay. I'm a very, very small business, okay, and I treat my workers the very best I can, okay. But I can only pay them the minimum.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have the money. Okay, all the revenue, all the business, all the I'm building it. Okay, but I don't have it right yet. Okay, so if somebody comes along and turns around and goes, "Hey, I'm going to pay. I think you're really good. Adam's done the hard yard of training you. I'll pay you $35 an hour." Right? I can't compete with that, and I think that's what happened with One Nation. Okay, they can't compete with the big parties. They don't have the big machine. They don't have all that funding. They don't have anything like that where they can help you. Okay, and I can assure you, right, that they do try hard to get you the best deals that they can when you pay for your Mimo and all that kind of stuff. There's no way in hell that you can't that you can buy that stuff that cheap.
Silver says August 2024. No, August 2023.
23 around
23. Yeah. It was right about the time when
there's plenty of newspapers. The Sydney Morning Herald reported. Just look up Mark Latham leaves One Nation. I mean, it's all there.
Yeah, just have a look. And
he went into Parliament and laid it all out on the line about what's going on.
And I still revere Mark Latham as as a very credible person, and I don't think he says things.
I go back to what he said to you. Yeah. Remember, he said to you, "Don't do anything dodgy. It's not worth it."
I agree with that, and I think he did say that to me, and And I agree with him. I think that he has probably information that none of us have or seen, or he's seen information that people that we don't get to see. He called it out. And then it's up to ICAC and it's up to Electoral Commission to sort out that mess. And if they've deemed that everything's okay, then it's a non-issue.
Got a comment from Mark. He says a lot of candidates running for One Nation would not be fully prepared for the hit jobs and hate thrown at them for being aligned to
It's
One
not
Nation.
so bad. We've done it. I've done it twice. It's fun.
Well,
You know what? You
to be
get
truthful, mate, to that call, I was at a railway station during the 23 election campaign, and I almost got king hit by some bloke. It was a 6:45 one morning, just when there was its first light, and I was handing out stuff for the One Nation, and I almost got king hit by some bloke. So,
Yeah.
barring that, you get the occasional one. But there's been plenty of times I've gone city boos, I've done the country areas, and I've been abused a couple of times, but it's much less. You talk to people from 10 years ago, they got spat at half the time.
if you're going to be a political candidate, you got to have a thick skin.
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as you wear the orange, you're deemed a racist.
Yeah.
Okay. Like a South African wife. I've got coloured children. I've got, you know what I mean? I'm being divorced.
Hey, we played that cold open in the beginning. John Howard, John Alexander. They did
John Anderson.
Sorry, John Anderson. They did the research, the marketing. What do we call it? The polling. Yeah,
this is 30 years ago.
To find out what motivated One Nation people,
And
One
it
Nation
wasn't
voters, and they
racism.
knew it wasn't racism.
But they still picked it
They still pushed One Nation as being a racist party.
because that's
And
politics.
When I was in One Nation, I didn't see any evidence. Oh, but one person I met in One Nation, he was a lunatic. He didn't belong in there anyway. They're not racist people.
They're not.
And I've been to 3 or 4 branch
But they're all they're more multicultural come in there anyway. We've had Indians, we've got Maltese people, you've got Italians, you got bloody Australians, you got everyone in there. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a race thing. Okay. Being nationalist, okay, wanting Australia to stay Australia and then people coming to Australia and then assimilating to Australia, that's not racism. Okay. So don't keep falling for the bullshit that the media keep spilling into the people.
Well, no one listens to mainstream. Everyone's got
but but the thing is that they used to listen and it's been instilled.
Coming back to what Mark Latham said, difference between Mark Latham and Barnaby Joyce. Mark wanted
About 2 years.
Yeah, but Mark wanted to become Mark was basically an independent. He wanted to become independent. He didn't want to be part of a party after that. And it was just a way of getting there.
I don't know any of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I take the lessons that I learned from Mark. I think he's credible. He's a great
He
politician.
taught us. Look at us now. How much we learned from Mark of that campaign in 23.
Very good
on how to work campaigns, how to talk, and all that sort of stuff.
I got elected from what I learned from him.
Yeah.
Okay, as an independent.
Yeah.
Right, on a budget of about I think $5,000 to $10,000 or whatever it was. You know what I
right.
mean? Okay, so and that's what I was going to say when we go back to all the hits and stuff with One Nation. Yeah, if you believe in the policies and stick to your policies, right, and do the legwork. That's all you need to do. And then what happens is it's political skin.
Yeah. And my advice to family first and the libertarians, if they're going to
bend the knee. Bend the damn knee and go away.
We've got Daenerys Targaryen
Yeah,
here.
it is. Bend the knee and go away.
If they're going to persevere, this is a long game. This is a 10, 20-year project. You know?
Or get what you want by picking the better party, the winner party. I think it's almost time to wrap
We
it
better
up.
wrap it. We were going to talk a little bit about Epstein, but there's not too much to talk about with Epstein, is there?
Well, basically, everyone what? But I'm just saying that.
What I want to know about Epstein.
If this is what, come back to Epstein. Let's finish One Nation now. Coming back to Epstein, do you think this is these elites of the royal family and these other high-profile elite people and stuff? Has this been a ring? Has this been a ring that's been going for hundreds of years?
We've got a visitor, people. Here we go.
This is doing well.
Hello, sweetheart.
Hello, darling.
Well, let's keep going then.
We've got a guest on here.
Hello, guest. All right, we should
family operation.
We should wrap it up. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching this one. I'm sorry about the image and it being all blurry.
We're all getting
working the bugs out.
Hopefully, people enjoyed the audio. And as I always say, please head to the Commanding the Narrative website. Keep up to date with everything that we're doing. Hopefully, we have bigger and better things as we move forward. And thank you, Mr. Adam Zahra. Thank you, Sam Buono, for a great show.
Cheers,
we'll
mate.
see you all next time. Bye bye.
See ya on the shelf.